What's good, y'all? The draft was last night. Really good stuff. Besides, a couple picks like, man, the Raptors taking Scotty Barnes, the Kings taking Davion Mitchell. I don't know, but I'm no draft professional, so I'm not going to be making a video on that. But what I will be making a video on is this video. Free agency is up now, and I wanted to wait till the draft happened because the draft has a lot to do with free agency and like where people's directions are. And I'm kind of disappointed by last night and only one trade, obviously the Russell Westbrook trade, like the big trade happening. I was hoping Ben Simmons would get moved, Colin Sexton would get moved, something like that, but oh well. But yeah, so right in front of me, I have a list of every single team and their huge like free agency sign, or not even huge, but if there's like a good role player that should get like over like 15 minutes, then I'm gonna include them in the list. Now, there were 3 teams that didn't even have a single like free agent that was even worth talking about, and those were the Grizzlies, Timberwolves, and Thunder. So sorry if you're a fan of those teams, but I'm not interested in any of those players and talking about them. But okay, this goes in alphabetical order from city. So at first, the Atlanta Hawks, which ironically is my favorite team, but John Collins, he's a restricted free agent. I really hope we get a sign and trade. I don't think the Hawks should re-sign him just because what he does, he's a really good role player, but really good role players should not get paid over 22 million. I understand he's young, and maybe he could develop into something, but I don't think we should risk it. I mean, we just drafted Jalen Johnson at 20, who should be like replacing him. We're already paying Gallinari 20 million. You're telling me our total power forward spot we're gonna be paying like 50 million? That doesn't make any sense. So I don't think we should re-sign John Collins. If we do, we should sign and trade, and if we do re-sign him, it should be for less than 22 million. And then Evan Fournier, Lou Williams. I don't think the Hawks. What I noticed making this list is that there are so many good point guards that can deserve like a backup spot. I don't think Lou Williams should be a backup point guard, and we saw it in the playoffs. I mean, Lou Williams, he really pick and chose what games he had to get. Like every single one of his good games were in like a huge game. Like I think game 5 in Philly. The Bucks game and game 4 where he like only missed 2 shots and had like 20 points. But no, I don't think Lou Williams should re-sign with the Hawks. Up next, the Celtics, Evan Fournier. I think this is pretty obvious. They need to re-sign Evan Fournier because they literally traded for him just like halfway through the season. That one's pretty obvious. Hopefully not for more than I think any more than 18 million is pushing it. But yeah. Next up, Nets, Dinwiddie. I don't think Dinwiddie wants to come back to Brooklyn, and the Nets can't even afford him. So no. Jeff Green. I like Jeff Green in Brooklyn, very good 4, and also Blake Griffin, another very good 4-5. I know they did, they drafted 2 different Brooklyn bigs, or not Brooklyn, but bigs in the draft, I think, and definitely one scoring guard. I don't know what their plans are, but I'd re-sign them both. They're they're very good players. They'll probably be cheap. I don't think any team's paying them over 9 or 8 million, and that's the mid-level exception. So yeah, Hornets, Bismack Biyombo. No, the Hornets traded for Mason Plumlee, and then they also drafted a big. So I think Biyombo and Cody Zeller, I think they should just. I understand Kai Jones is only he was the 19th pick, but I don't see them re-signing either of those centers. If they are, Bismack Biyombo is on a minimum deal. Devontae Graham's restricted. I would. If I'm the Hornets, I'm trying to sign and trade him, but he doesn't. I don't think he really fits with the Hornets, if I'm being honest. And then Malik Monk. I think you try and re-sign with Malik Monk. I really liked him in Charlotte. And then for the Bulls, Lauri Markkanen. I'll be honest, I'm not too huge on Lauri Markkanen, especially on the Bulls. He might need a different atmosphere because he's just been not regressing, but just staying the same, and that's not really good when everyone else in this draft decides. You guys remember when it was literally a conversation? It was the 4 forwards in the 2017 draft. It was John Collins, Kyle Kuzma, Lauri Markkanen, and Pascal Siakam. And everyone was saying Kuzma and Markkanen, and that was just hilarious. And then Daniel Tice, I guess as a backup center, Daniel Tice is good, but he was playing a bit of the 4 on the Bulls. I didn't really like that, but as a backup center, I'd love Tice back, for less than 8 million. And then the Cavaliers, they have Jared Allen restricted. You just got Evan Mobley. I would love to see a signing. I guess, Lauri Markkanen, you want him to be signing trade if you're a Bulls fan, but that's not really too needed. He can just leave. You need to sign and trade Jared Allen. And it doesn't have to be for that much, but get something back for him. Because I know you don't really want him. You don't want Evan Mobley playing the 4. You really don't. But if the Cavs try and do it, I don't like that. But Mavericks, the only one is THJ, Tim Hardaway Jr., and the Mavericks have money to spend, and they have to, give Luka a max or a super max. I don't even know how it works. Maybe, I guess, a super max next year. So they have to spend their money now, and I guess Tim Hardaway Jr., because there's not that many good free agents. So Yeah, just bring back Tim Hardaway Jr., I'd say. For the Nuggets, Will Barton, very injury prone. I wouldn't pay him that much if I'm being honest, but we'll see how that goes. JaMychal Green, I think was a very good role player for Nuggets. They should bring him back. Paul Millsap, they should bring him back. Not for too much though. Like Millsap's really getting old, so maybe like a 1 or 2 year deal. And then Austin Rivers, I don't know what is Austin Rivers' value in the market. I don't think the Nuggets should pay too much for him, but he was like pretty good in those playoffs. So, whatever they want to do for the Pistons, I think you should bring back Diallo and bring back Saban Lee. Not for too much. I don't think any team's really looking at them, so I don't think you have to pay them too much. Just sign them back. The Warriors, Kelly Oubre. It's so confusing with this Jonathan Kuminga pick and the fact that they didn't trade their picks. Like, I don't know what they're trying to do, but I think Oubre's going. I don't know where he's going. I don't know how much he's worth after last year starting so bad shooting. But yeah, I don't think he's coming back. I don't think the Warriors should bring him back. I guess Kuminga's their new star now. I don't know. But Bazemore, I think you should bring him back. Not only is he one of the only decent 3-point shooters on last year's team, but also Bazemore just brings a really good energy. He does. As a Hawks fan, I would know. But and then the Rockets, Kelly Olynyk. I think Kelly Olynyk might be asking for some money in the free agency just because he played so good in Houston. But if you want to bring him back because he was playing so good in Houston, I guess. But the Rockets had like 4 or 5 draft picks, I think. Or at least 3 different first round ones. So, no, I don't think you bring him back. But he was really good for Houston. Pacers, TJ McConnell. I think you want to bring TJ McConnell back. But I think teams are actually going to like really want him. Like, I would love him as a backup point guard. So his value might be, I think over 12 million for sure. So do you want to bring him back? I don't know. Doug McDermott, he might be cheap, so I think you bring him back. He also fit really well with the Pacers, even though they are going to have TJ Warren and O'Shea Brissett. Are they really going to add everyone in the rotation? I don't know. They have too many players, and they had a couple draft picks last night. The Clippers, but bring back Batum. I'd say 100%. Batum was so good. DeMarcus Cousins, I don't know. If it's for cheap, I guess, but he wasn't really good in offensively he was fine in the playoffs, but defensively he sucked and just fouled, and I don't know. Reggie Jackson, as long as it's like, if another team's overpaying for him, don't even try and match it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if someone's trying to pay $20 million for Reggie Jackson, let them go ahead. But like, I think you want to bring Reggie Jackson back, and then obviously bring Kawhi back. Lakers, Caruso, I think you want to try and bring him back, but I mean, I love Caruso as a backup point guard, so I'm assuming many other teams do. I wouldn't overpay for him, especially because, man, there's a slight chance Caruso could go for over 10 million, and that's over the. I guess, do they have bird rights? I think they would have bird rights on Caruso. So I don't know. Drummond, I don't know. Drummond is so confusing because, like, man, the way he's been talking after the season ended, like, oh, what they say, like, I'm Kareem Abdul Drummond, and like he's like really trying to become better. I don't know. I don't really care where Drummond goes, honestly. THT, he's gonna get overpaid by some team. Those are the rumors. I would never pay over 10 million for him. I barely pay over 8 million for him. But I guess. And then Schroeder, just get rid of him. He played so bad, and the chemistry would kind of be ruined if Schroeder came back, in my opinion. Okay, for the Miami Heat, Goran Dragic, he has a team option. I think it's like, isn't it 17 million? I think you definitely decline the team option. But I don't know. Do you bring him back? Okay, actually, I'll just say this goes hand in hand. I think you bring one of Kendrick Nunn and Goran Dragic back. Kendrick Nunn's restricted free agent, and Dragic has a 17 million team option. I don't know. You can choose Oladipo. You definitely bring him back, and then Duncan Robinson. I wonder what his value is. It might be like 15 million or over. Like, when you're that good of a shooter, where everyone's worried about you, I'd say you bring him back, but you're gonna have to pay a hefty price, especially for already having Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. And then, the Heat have been trying to make trades. I think they're interested in Kyle Lowry, which is, a very good fit. But, like, they need to pay everyone. I think it's kind of underrated and they're under the radar how people are talking about, like, oh, in the upcoming years, the Hawks need to pay. Or, like, all these other teams, the Lakers need to pay everyone. The Heat need to pay everyone. But that's all I'm going to say. The Bucks, I think you bring back everyone, but on good deals. Like, Bryn Forbes, you bring back. You don't have to pay him that much, I don't think. Just bring him back. Bobby Portis is a player option. I think he's going to decline it and ask for more money. That's fine. Just give him more money. You just want a championship. It doesn't matter if you have a losing season for the next five seasons. You just want a championship. At least just bring your players back. Mavericks didn't do that, and look how they turned out. Jeff Teague, I think you could sign him on a minimum because, like, no one really wants to sign Jeff Teague. And PJ Tucker, you might have to pay like 4 or 5 million, honestly. Even though he is that old, He's just so valuable. But yeah, Pelicans. Ideally, you want to sign and trade Lonzo Ball, but I feel like Lonzo Ball is just, it's already official that he doesn't really want to return to the Pelicans. So you want to sign and trade him, but I don't know. And also, you kind of want to keep him because he's a great fit with Zion and Ingram, I think. But I don't know. Josh Hart's a really good role player. He might get paid, even though he has been going through injuries, so that's kind of tough. But he might get paid. Who knows? For the New York Knicks, Derrick Rose. I feel like Derrick Rose really fit Madison Square Garden, and he was balling out in the playoffs. I think he'd try and bring him back, but other teams might pay him, like the Chicago Bulls, or like maybe some team needs a six man. Or does Derrick Rose even still want to be a six man? Even though, when you rank all the point guards, he's still in the lower tier. He's in the 23 through 30 of starting point guards. That's just how talented the league is. So is he really a starting point guard? I don't know. Elfrid Payton. They might bring him. It'd be so funny if Elfrid Payton gets re-signed with the Knicks, but I don't know. The fans hate him. I don't think he will. And he stopped playing in the playoffs. He was so bad. Frank Ntilikina, fan favorite. I think you bring him back. I don't think any team's really trying to pay for him. So you bring him back as a fan favorite. Nerlens Noel was really good. I'd re-sign him. Alec Burks, I'd re-sign him. And Reggie Bullock, I don't know. Reggie Bullock cannot be your starting small forward. I'm sorry. He cannot. So if the Knicks are trying to re-sign him with the intentions of him to start, I wouldn't. Straight up. The Orlando Magic, Otto Porter Jr., I have no idea what his value is. He was getting paid $30 million a year for doing nothing, or $28 million. I don't know. And then Mo Wagner, I think you bring him back because his brother actually got drafted with the number 8 pick to the Magic. I think Mo Wagner wants to come back, so you don't have to pay him that much. He's not that good. And even, actually, he was playing pretty good in Orlando in that last half of the season, or probably last third. 76ers, no, you don't. You do not bring back Danny Green. I'm sorry, you don't. He was terrible. He was actually, him being injured really hurt the Hawks. If Danny Green was playing the entire series, the Hawks would have won in 6. But I keep talking about the Hawks. Let me stop. Dwight Howard, I don't know. When you have so much depth, it gives Doc Rivers, Doc Rivers wants to play a 10-man in the playoffs. In my opinion, just don't even try and run an 8-man the entire regular season, so that you do it in the playoffs. You don't run a 10-man in the playoffs. So, I don't know. But Korkmaz, I think you bring Korkmaz back. Then for the Suns, Torrey Craig, you definitely bring him back. I don't think he's going to get paid that much in the offseason, but he could. I don't know. Frank Kaminsky, I don't really see it, if I'm being honest. I would hope that Jalen Smith actually comes in the rotation after, he was a rookie last year, right? So he'll be in the second year. You drafted him that high. He should be in the rotation. Chris Paul, you definitely try and bring him back. Cameron Payne, I do not know, because the market might be worth over $17 million. Just in market terms, especially because this free agency isn't that high, I don't know how to say it, high talented. There's probably only 1 or 2 different all-stars, I think. So I don't know. I think he might be worth a lot, and if you're paying him over $17 million, or if other teams are paying him $17 million, I wouldn't even match it. The Blazers, Carmelo Anthony, I think you just need to let him go. I don't know why have the Blazers not traded Dame or CJ? I guess the Blazers should just keep. That's what they do. They just keep all their players. They'll trade Gary Trent Jr. for Norman Powell, which they're both free agents now. Man, wouldn't it be funny if Gary Trent Jr. went back to the? I always just think about that. If a trade happens next, and then the following offseason they just went back to the team, that'd be such a finesse. But I don't know. Norman Powell, he sold Dame in the playoffs, him and CJ, but I guess you can bring him back. And then Enes Kanter, I guess you can bring him back. I don't know what the Blazers are doing, I'll be honest. Then the Kings, I don't know what the Kings are doing. Rashawn Holmes is a free agent. Some teams might want him, so I don't even know, can the Kings bring him back? But if they can, I would resign Rashawn Holmes to 17 million, 18 million, 19 million. I don't know, somewhere around there. Terrence Davis is restricted. I guess you can just let him go because they're signing. They keep drafting guards for no reason. Terrence Davis is a really solid guard. I'd love him on my team. So I think they're just gonna let him go. For the Spurs, DeMar DeRozan, do you really want to bring him back? What is the direction of the Spurs? I don't know. DeMar DeRozan, Rudy Gay, Patty Mills, who cares? Spurs aren't gonna make the playoffs next year, and are they trying to tank? I don't know. And then for the Raptors, Kyle Lowry, Kyle Lowry's definitely leaving. He's kind of said that he kind of wants to leave. Khem Birch, that's interesting. I think they should keep him, but I don't know. Maybe they let go of Khem Birch and they run Scotty Barnes at the 5 or Siakam at the 5, or I guess you still have Boucher, but Boucher can still come off the bench. I don't know. I still don't get the Scotty Barnes thing. Is Scotty Barnes coming off the bench? Who's coming off the bench then? Is it still Boucher? I don't know. Gary Trent Jr., you definitely resign. Honestly, in my opinion, he's worth 15, 16 million a year. Anything more than that, that's kind of insane. But for the Utah Jazz, we have Mike Conley. Mike Conley, you bring him back, but like, man, he's really sold the Jazz from injuries last year. He didn't even play to the last game. And the year before that, he was playing through injury, I'm pretty sure, in the bubble. And they lost in the first round in 7 to the Nuggets, who were also injured with like, who was it? Oh, also, the Jazz didn't have Bojan, but you know. Who did the Nuggets? The Nuggets didn't have Barton or Gary Harris, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that's kind of tough, but whatever. For the final team, Bradley Beal. Oh, wait, why did I say Beal? No, it's the Wizards. Why did I put Beal as the team? Okay. Washington Wizards, Ish Smith. I think Ish Smith is gone because they did trade on draft night for Aaron Holiday, and they traded down, I think. I don't know why you do that unless, you know, you're getting rid of Ish Smith. But Ish Smith is a perfect example of like a backup point guard that I was saying that like any team would want. Like Ish Smith is really solid. Even though the Wizards weren't that good, their point guard position with Westbrook, you know, I'm not too much of a fan of Westbrook, but Westbrook being your point guard and the backup being Ish Smith, that's just deadly. But yeah, that's gonna be all 30 teams. They're all 27 because 3 of them I didn't even mention. But yeah, I'm kind of out of breath. Just like the video, please, and comment, you know, what I got right or wrong about your team, and subscribe if I don't really care. Okay, bye.